What's good, YouTube? Mike Cheesy coming at you. Happy Friday, everyone. I have a special Yu-Gi-Oh video today. Today I want to talk about my top 10 list of cards that I think need to be reprinted in the game. I have a couple honorable mention cards too, so it's kind of like a top 12 list, but I didn't want to call it top 12 because 12 is just kind of a weird number compared to, like a top 10 list. When I thought about these cards, I took into consideration like their age and their current market value. I'm not like one of those people that are like, oh, we need to reprint Necroza, Brionic, and Trishula like right now. Like, it doesn't make sense for Konami to reprint them when they just came out. So I tried to make, a fairly balanced list and try to make it, logical according to me. Alright, so coming in at the honorable mention number 2 spot, you can consider it number 12, is Madolche Mageline. Mageline's currently sitting about $10 on eBay. Came out in Return of the Duelist, which came out in August of 2012. So the card's like almost 3 years old now and hasn't seen a reprint. Mageline is like the Stratos of the deck, and anyone that's trying to build Madolche, you'd probably theoretically want, 2-3 Mageline just to search your combo pieces. I know Madolche is like not like the forefront, of the game or anything right now, but in theory, it still has a lot of like OTK potential, and I don't see how it, wouldn't be viable right now. Like considering Tiramisu is still, one of the best exceeds that have been printed. I don't know if Madolche is getting new support. I want to say that they are, but I might be confusing them with the Aroma Mage archetype because they kind of have the similar art style with a cutesy look. So yeah, like Mageline, I mean, even though it's not super expensive, it's just like it's 3 years old now, hasn't seen a reprint. I know like stuff like Hoot Cake has in the Megatin, so I think it's time for us to see a Madolche Mageline reprint sometime. And coming in at the number 11 spot, the honorable mention number 1, is Naturia Cherries. Cherries is only an $8 card. Came out in Starstrike Blast, which came out in November of 2010. So like that's like 4.5 years old now, and one of the few like cards from Starstrike Blast that haven't been reprinted. Like Starstrike Blast had a lot of like good value cards that took forever to get reprinted, most notably Vanity's Emptiness. But Cherries has always like held like a very consistent value, even though, I mean, I don't even know what its effect is, or like, people don't really play Naturias like too seriously, even though I know some people that do, they have it built with like Bamboo Shoot and all this stuff. But yeah, Cherries has always been like the hard card to get in the deck, which I don't technically know if Cherries is even ran in the deck. But yeah, just the fact that it's, almost 5 years old now, hasn't seen a reprint, it's, $8, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's my number 11 spot. So coming in at number 10, cracking into our actual list here. So at number 10, I have Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. It's currently at $10 on eBay. Came out from Galactic Overload, which came out in April of 2012. So that means it's, a little bit over 3 years old now and hasn't seen a reprint. Gaia Dragon, like, it's, fluctuated in playability. Like, probably saw like the most play, when dragons were still around. Just getting that Piercer, monster per game is potentially valuable. I also saw play in like Heretic builds and I don't know what else, but it being like 3 years old now, it deserves a reprint. And something like Gaia Dragon, for what it is, it shouldn't be like a $10 card. It should be like I don't know, like a $3 or $4 card at most. And it's only super rare, so yep. And coming in at number 9 is Lightning Chidori. Chidori is currently about $20 for the Ultra. Came out in Cosmo Blazer, which came out in January of 2013. Chidori, like, back when I was playing, like, Chidori was like a $5 card, and now it's like 20, and I think it was like 30 or something, like, a few weeks ago. I think it's because it's, like, played in the Yosenju or Ritual Beast or something. Um, yeah, there's no reason why Chidori needs to be a $20 card. Like, it's, I mean, it's good, but it's just like the stats are weak. Um, I think it's only old because, or it's only like expensive because of its age, and it hasn't, seen a reprint. It's about like 2.5 years ish old now. It deserves a reprint, and something like Chidori just needs, like, it's a $5 card. Just let it be a $5 card. It's coming in at number 8 is Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. It's currently sitting about $16 to $17. It came out in Hidden Arsenal 4, which came out in April of 2011. Trishula reprint, it's not, like, Trishula isn't legal or anything, so it's not like, doesn't need to be reprinted in that aspect of it. And you could say, well, if you want the Trish reprint, that means it's going to be tournament legal. Which, like, if Trishula came back, I don't know. Well, chances are if it did came back, they would just, like, make a new version that has an errata to make it balanced. But even, like, I don't know, how many times have you seen people, like, with the potential to just synchro for 7? With all the dragons banned, it's kind of hard to get those levels. And even if you're doing it with, like, a level 2, a 3, and a 4, like, that's a 3-card investment, for just one Trish that could get Bailored or Phoenix Chained or whatever. This, I think it needs a reprint just because it's, about 4 years old now. It's probably like one of the best synchros in the game. Deserves a reprint, and, considering it's banned and it being like $16, $17 is pretty crazy too. I think just people are like starting to like, hoard them and stuff, or just trying to tame them for the just in case scenario that it does come back. Even with an errata, they can still, it would shoot up to like maybe $30 and people would unload them at that point. So yeah, Trish deserves a reprint. And coming up at number 7 is Castel, the Skyblaster Musketeer. It's currently sitting at $22. It came out in Duelist Alliance in August of 2014. So I know August of last year isn't, like, it's not that much time. It's probably like, like 8-9 months. The thing with Castel is, like, it's arguably one of like the best rank 4s in the game, and it being like over $20, like, it just makes it so it's not accessible to people. Yeah, generally, like, rank 4s, they're supposed to, be like the cheaper decks for newer players to, like, be able to build. But with the $22 price tag of Castel, it's not very budget friendly. Like, when I think about like Satellas, like, the main deck wise, they're almost a budget deck, but then like a lot of their value comes in the extra deck, and I think it's time where like the extra deck needs to be a little cheaper so the game is like more accessible to more people. Like, it's hard to play a deck where you don't access the extra deck. So yeah, Castel is one of the best rank 4s. Deserves a reprint just for it to, for that price point to be a little bit lower. I think 22 is too much for it. I see it as like a good like $10 to $12 card. Doesn't need to be like double that. And coming in at number 6 is Evil Swarm Exciting Knight. Currently it's sitting at $26, and it did get reprinted. It got reprinted in the Megatin, which came out in August of 2014 as well. I put this card down because, like, even though it did get a reprint, the reprint really didn't do anything to its value. Well, I guess it did because the old secret used to be like $70, but Excite Knight is good. I would consider it, pretty much a staple in like a rank 4 or a level 4 deck, just to have, the toolbox factor of your extra deck. exciting was, like, I think when the tin first came out, it was like $20, which it kind of made it, way more reasonable, but it's been picking up value. I think it needs, it needs a reprint to make it, more accessible. Like, even though the Megatin, like, that was an okay product, but you're still, like, there's so many cards in the set that it was kind of hard to, pull an Exciton or a Dracosac or something people actually wanted. And now, these days Dracosac doesn't even belong in a deck or anything. But, yeah, Exciton, like, it would be a good, reprint just to make it more accessible to people. Kind of has the same logic as a Castel reprint. And I think, it being like a $15 card would be more reasonable. So coming in at number 5 is Blood Mephist. Currently it's sitting about $350 for the Super, and it is the 2011 YCS prize card. I put this down because not so much because like anyone wants a Blood Mephist. Like, if I were to synchro for 8, I would like almost always go into a Scrap Dragon or one of the Stardusts over Blood Mephist. I put this on the list because it seems like to get any of the other prize cards, like the older ones have to be reprinted first. We got the 3 Dark Lord cards in the whatever Legendary Collection or Raw Yellow Mega Pack or something, I don't know. It came out and it was like, they were like super easy to get. But we haven't got, like this one would be the next in line and we still haven't gotten it. So if it means that we need, to get a Blood Mephist reprint before, like, whatever that rank 5 is called, Dvorksack or something, or some of the other ones, like if we have to get this one first, then like try to get it out of the way, and it's not like Blood Mephist is gonna like break the game. It's probably barely playable. So yeah, I think it needs a reprint. And coming in at number 4 is Satellar Knight Deneb. Currently it's sitting at $30. It's also from Duelist Alliance, which came out in August 2014. Deneb needs, a reprint because it is like the heart of the Satella deck. Anyone that is trying to build Satellas needs like at least one Deneb, to get your deck going with, looping with Altairs and all that kind of stuff. If you had the 1 Deneb and 3 Rhodas, it's kind of like you're running 4 Denebs, but yeah, it's better to have 6 than 4. Yeah, like this reprint, like it would just make it more accessible to people, and like, yeah, like ever since like the Satellas like had that big breakout in the 1 ARG, like Deneb shot up in value, and it's gone down to like 25 and maybe 20 at one point, but it's gone back up to 30. I don't think Satellas are doing enough in like the premier level events to warrant its $30 price tag. It is an ultra and all that, but yeah, just like I hate it when like the heart of some deck will be expensive, but then everything else will be like common and rare, which is pretty much the case for Satellas. When you think about all their monsters, they're either common or rare, except Deneb, which happens to be the heart of the core of the deck. And it's $30, so it just makes the entire deck like not accessible to people on a budget. And considering in Japan it's a $2 common, and for us it's a $30 ultra, like that, that's just ridiculous. Like, it needs a reprint in like a tin or something, get it to like $3, $4 like super rare. And coming in at number 3 is Daigusto Emerald. This is currently sitting at $29. Like Excitonite, it did get a reprint. This reprint came out in Battle Pack 3, which came out in July of 2014. So, it hasn't been a year since its Battle Pack 3 reprint, but anyone that remembers the whole thing with Battle Pack 3, like Emerald and I think it was Alucard came out in that set. But like it was like impossible to pull like the Exceeds from that set. They just short printed the crap out of it. And like it getting a reprint, but then short printing it almost defeats the purpose of reprinting it in the first place. Emerald came out in Hidden Arsenal 7, I think. So it has some age. I don't remember when Hidden Arsenal 7 came out. But yeah, Emerald just it's along with the other rank 4s I listed, it's just one of those staple rank 4s that people should have, and it shouldn't be $30 for something that people should have. It should be, I guess, Emerald. I could see it, as a good $8 card. It deserves, it deserves a little value, but it doesn't need to be double digits. And coming in at number 2 is Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. Currently, it's sitting at $60. It is came out from Duelist Alliance. Came out in August of 2014. I talked a little bit about this in one of my my previous video, but I was thinking about coming back and playing Burning Abyss, but when 3 cards equals probably 80% to 85% of the whole deck's value, that seems like a terrible move when in theory the card could get reprinted at any time. Who wants to lose that much value out of it? Just the drop of a hat. Dante is similar to Deneb. It is the heart of the Burning Abyss deck. And I think I did see one build top some regional running 2, but it's definitely optimal to have all 3, I would think, unless there's some next level stuff that I don't know about. Yeah, Dante, it would be, if I were to reprint Dante, I would put it in the fall, the late fall tin. That way it would be a perfect Christmas thing where kids would want 3, so that could be a sale of 3 tins, which is $60. So that would make, from Konami's perspective, I would think that they would want to do that. And I think the holiday tins have always usually been a pretty good seller, as far as I know. It just depends on the quality of the reprint. Sometimes they just don't put anything in, and the tins aren't super popular. If one of the tins had a Dante, I'm pretty sure that it would sell like crazy. The main deck of Burning Abyss is really cheap, and Dante though is one of the more expensive cards in the game right now, and it just makes it so the budget players don't have access to it. And I think not Necros, but Burning Abyss should be the budget deck of the format right now. It's pretty viable, as far as I know. But yeah, it just makes it so no one can really get acquire the deck unless they have the 150 to 180 to pick up Dante's. And coming in at number 1 is number 106, Giant Hand. It's currently sitting at $750 for the Super, and it is the 2013 prize card. I remember when Satellas, the last time they were super popular, even though they did have the more recent resurgence, but I saw a thread on Duelist Grounds that said, I think it was Brandon Wigley or someone like that said if you don't have a giant hand, you shouldn't play Satellas. And then I didn't really think too much of it, and I played Satellas at the regional in Seattle. I got my invite and stuff, and then I totally agree with him. Giant hand is just such a good generic rank 4 to just go into. For that deck, it only requires, I think it requires 2. I don't remember. No, it might be 3. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know because I've never played with a giant hand except on Wargeo Pro. But yeah, giant hand's arguably one of the better rank 4s in the game. There are certain game states where going into a Castel or 101 is better. Giant hand's a good turn 1 rank 4. Whereas if you didn't have giant hand, you're forced to go into Gandaiva or Karen Gornin or something, maybe Ragnazero, depending on what you're playing. But if you don't know what you're playing, you're probably not going to go into Ragnazero turn 1. Yeah, I think the rank 4 player base needs a giant hand reprint. And this is part of the reason why, I listed Blood Mephist on the list, because if we need to get a Blood Mephist reprint before we ever get Giant Hand, then that means we need to expedite the Blood Mephist reprint. And, whatever the 2012 prize card was that came out between Blood Mephist and Giant Hand would also have to come out, theoretically. It'd be nice if they could just reprint Giant Hand without having to deal with Blood Mephist and whatever. Or I guess, yeah, it was a Dvork sack or something, the rank 5. But, it being like $750, like that makes it pretty much out of the reach for a large portion of the player base. So yeah, that is my top 10 list. Hopefully you agree with, the cards I listed. Maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be the exact order. The order was pretty, arbitrary for the most part, except maybe, the top 5. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hope you all have a good weekend. If you're playing at the YCS Chicago, good luck. I don't think anyone locally is, but for anyone, outside of the local area going, good luck. This weekend is also the Pro Tour for Magic, so that's definitely going to be an important event to set the tone for the rest of or at least, the next few months of the format. Yeah, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you.